I'm Yui Soeda. I'm 25 years old. I work full-time. I like to cook. It was like a hobby of mine. I really enjoyed it. I didn't upload them online or anything. I wasn't that good, so… Sometimes I cooked dinner for my boyfriend Takayuki, but that was about it. We started living together a few years ago. Takayuki, what do you want for dinner tomorrow?
Fries from McDonald's.
I don't think I can. I can try, but…
Huh?
Sometimes Takayuki made these ridiculous demands.
Why not? It's just potatoes, right?
Yeah, but I don't have the same kind of equipment as they do. I told you this before.
Stop making excuses. You're a woman. You're supposed to know how to cook.
He knew nothing about cooking. He thought all he needed to know was the ingredients. The other day, he told me to make him Coke from scratch, and he always ridiculed me when I told him I couldn't. Sometimes I tried to make these things to shut him up, but…
Ugh, gross! This tastes horrible!
He was always complaining. But I looked up the recipe online and…
You gotta step it up. You've been slacking. Maybe you skipped a few steps to cut corners.
What? No! I was doing my best, but it just wasn't good enough for him. But then, he ate it all anyways, leaving none for me. Other than this, he was a good person, but… A few days later, I was talking to Kaede, a friend of mine from cooking school. He said that to you? Unbelievable. Yeah, he just doesn't get it. That ramen you made the other day? That was really good. Oh, that. Yeah, I made him for it too, but he hated it. Why don't you just break up with him already? You're wasting your time with him. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should dump him and get it over with. That night, I tried out this new recipe I learned at cooking school.
Huh? What about the fries?
Huh? You were serious about that?
Yeah, it's just potatoes. How hard can it be?
Fine, I'll go buy some then.
Stop trying to cut corners!
I'm not. I told you I can't make that at home. We've been through this.
Stop making excuses! Tomorrow, I want KFC, okay? This is your last chance. Got it?
Huh? There was just no talking to him. Why not just go out and eat then? I was through with him. It was time to put an end to this once and for all. The next day, I bought the ingredients I needed to make fried chicken. I'll just make some normal fried chicken. It was impossible to make KFC quality fried chicken at home, so I didn't even bother to try. I just made some normal fried chicken and set it out on the table. Eat up!
All right, let's see how you did.
Ugh, just shut up and eat.
What? Screw you! I'll break up with you. You want that?
Fine.
Huh?
He didn't see that coming. Did he really think I'd be like, oh no, please don't leave me? Let me ask you something. Can you build a house?
Huh? No.
What about a microwave?
What? No!
Why not? You know what they're made of, right? How hard could it be?
Shut up!
But that's what you always say to me. It's the same logic. Come on, build me a new home. That shut him up.
It's not the same.
How so? You're a guy, right? I'm sure you've got it in you.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
You said the same thing to me, remember? And another thing, if you've got a problem with my cooking, do it yourself. We both worked full-time, but he never did anything around the house. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, I had to do everything around here.
But that's your job! You're a woman!
Seriously? You're joking me, right? We both work full-time. You're unbelievable. You're such an idiot.
But
Just go, get the hell out of here. Then I kicked him out of the house. The apartment was under my name anyway. That night, he stayed at a friend's house. I was done with him. The next morning, the doorbell rang. It was him.
Please open the door.
I thought you were staying with your friend.
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
He came back from his friend's house.
Yui won't stop nagging at me. She doesn't want to do things around the house anymore. Oh. She's a woman, though. That's her job, you know? Wait, she works full-time too, right? Yeah, but so what? I'm a dude. Housework isn't my responsibility. Oh, and she can't even make fries. You know, like the ones at McDonald's. How hard can it be? Fries? She can't even make Coke. The ingredients are written on the can. She's such an idiot. What are you saying? Huh?
His friend was stunned. He said to him,
Look, if you both work full-time, then you gotta do things around the house too. And fries from McDonald's? Coke? What's wrong with you? You can't make those at home.
He stayed up all night explaining to him how wrong he was. But I wasn't ready to forgive him. So you realized you were wrong. Good for you. Well, I'll leave your stuff outside. Bye.
What? No!
You said it was over.
You're joking, right?
I wasn't. I was through with him. People like him don't change. I started throwing his stuff out the window.
Hold on, please!
Build me a new home and I'll forgive you. Otherwise, get out. A few minutes later, he finally gave up and walked out. That felt good. I should have done this a long time ago. After that, his friends found out about what happened.
What an idiot.
Get with the times.
He's so stupid.
Things weren't looking good for him. Why did he assume that all women can cook in the first place? He started going around talking to my friends trying to get back with me, but no way, not in a million years. It was so good to have him out of my life. Good for you. I was worried about you. Yeah, thanks for the advice. I'm gonna take a break from guys for a while, and I'm gonna focus on cooking. Yeah, sounds good. A few years later, I met my husband at the cooking school, but, well, we'll save that one for a future video.
I am Asami, and my husband Tomoya and I have been married for 10 years this year, and we are finally having a child. We have been trying for 10 years to conceive a child because both of us had a physical condition that made it difficult to have children. And we have been thinking that if we couldn't have a baby this time, we would stop trying and live alone together.
We did it! We did it! Oh, thank you! Asami, thank you for the baby!
Thanks so much, but don't let your guard down yet. I'll take care of everything if you need anything. Mother-in-law, thank you. What are you talking about? It's a mother's job to make sure both mother and child are healthy. This is my mother-in-law, who has lived with us since I had a back injury in an accident a few years ago. But we don't have the usual daughter-in-law, mother-in-law problems, and we get along so well that I would call her my second biological mother. You can take Tomoya under your chin too. Tell me if he's slacking off, I'll kick his butt. Sounds good. Please send it to Brazil.
No, Asami and Mom. I'll help during work when I can. I mean, why Brazil?
We were so excited to finally have a new life in our family. And 6 months after the pregnancy, I found out the baby in my belly was a girl. On the way home from shopping for baby supplies with Tomoya and my mother-in-law, we were in high spirits.
Mom, you're buying too much.
It's my first grandchild. I'm so excited. And Yumi and the kids are excited about a girl too. Yumi and her family sent me bibs and some other stuff. And my mom also sent me a handmade bib.
You ladies are so quick. I mean, there's so many bibs. You mean drool pads, right?
You can never have too many bibs. By the way, Yumi is Tomoya's sister, and they have 3 boys. So for some reason, everyone is getting really excited for the first girl. As we were talking about that, and I got out of the car to unload the luggage, it's Sasaki-san. Sasaki, the neighbor, was a bit, well, quite a troubled old lady. This Sasaki-san goes around looking at other neighbors and...
You bought so many of them. Are you reselling? You must be a crazy parent to take your kids out so early in the morning and come home just now. Your daughter isn't married yet? You better get married soon or you won't be able to see your grandchildren.
And make rude remarks like so. According to my mother-in-law, Sasaki-san has always been like this. And so has my mother-in-law and the neighbors.
Yes.
That's right.
And they just ignore whatever she says. And when Sasaki-san's children got married and moved far away on top of her husband passing, her nagging got even worse. I hear that she started getting involved with her nonsense mainly with young people, couples, and families. And when I met her a few years ago...
Oh my, you two must have been married for a long time. You don't have any children? I wonder if you two don't get along well. Or maybe your body is not well.
I was taken aback when she said that to us. In addition, Sasaki-san has never met her own grandchildren. Maybe her children ran away from her. She's probably like this with her own children too. And as a result of getting ill-treated, she started getting involved with the young people in the neighborhood like us. Poor old lady. I'm annoyed at her insensitivity. But it's a hassle, so I'll just let it go. As I thought that and took her lightly, Tomoya was furious.
What is it with that old woman? She's jealous of young people.
Well, I don't know if she's jealous, but she's already like that. It's not worth it for us to get mad at her. Then one day, I was feeling very sleepy, so I was taking a nap in the living room when I suddenly heard a loud voice.
I'm telling you, your wife is cheating on you! I saw it! I saw her walking with a man in front of the station!
It sounds like it's coming from the front door. Ugh, it's just a dream. I can't believe Sasaki-san even appears in my dreams.
Maybe that baby on her belly is her boyfriend's! Oh my!
No, it's not a dream. As I was about to head for the front door, my mother-in-law and Sasaki-san were talking with the front door open, and Sasaki's words were not a dream. I started panicking. Sasaki-san? Run away. I was so worried because my mother-in-law loves me so much that she thinks I'm her daughter. She's a little emotional.
Huh? My Sami is 7 months pregnant and she don't have time for this! Huh! Are you trying to destroy our family by spreading falsehoods? That's terrible! That's terrible!
Mother-in-law breaks down crying. Sasaki-san is flustered.
Wait, what? That man walking in front of the station, he's a Sami's brother, isn't he? He came to our house the other day! I was there too! It's a well-known fact in the neighborhood that our families are close! You'd think they might be related, wouldn't you? You went to all this trouble to tell me, the mother-in-law? I don't want to listen to you talk! Goodbye!
My mother-in-law closed the front door with a loud bang and came into the living room with a big step.
I'm home. Oh, good morning, Asami. Do you want some pudding?
I'll have some. She offered me pudding with a smile on her face, as if what happened earlier never happened. So I accepted it. And after some more time, the baby was due soon. I have a bad back, and I had an operation a few years ago. So I decided to have a C-section, and I was preparing things for the hospitalization.
It's almost time. Were these the right towels?
Yes. I get to meet my baby soon. I'm a little scared about the C-section, but...
Don't worry, Asami's parents are coming too.
And I was getting ready to be admitted to the hospital for the birth the day after tomorrow.
Oh no, it's raining tomorrow, so I have to take care of the plants in the garden.
See you later. And then my mother-in-law rushes out into the garden, and after a while...
Oh, hello.
Sasaki-san's voice could be heard from the garden. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this.
I heard your wife is having a C-section.
Where did you hear that? I only talked about the C-section in the maternity ward and to my family. No way. Was it when I talked about it on my way home for buying burgers with Tomoya? I was surprised at how wide her information network was. No, I was appalled.
It doesn't count as giving birth if you don't give birth from the bottom.
Oh, is that what you're talking about again? Why should I be told like this by a complete stranger? When I was about to shout out to the window because I couldn't take it anymore.
What? Sasaki-san, you're awful! The doctor told us to do this, taking Asami's body into consideration! Are you saying you don't care what happens to Asami or the baby?
A person who screamed even louder than last time was indeed my mother-in-law.
It's hard either way, giving birth is life or death! You have to cut the stomach open in a C-section for the baby to be born. It's hard. I knew you were the kind of person who would say things like this, but I despise you.
And without waiting for Sasaki-san's reply, she entered the house with loud footsteps. And then... I'm sorry, Asami. And apologized to me with tears in her eyes. The neighbors and I were talking about her children leaving her, and her husband passing away early, so she's lonely. So we would listen to her. But it's getting too much these days. I can't take it anymore, that she would undermine the life that Asami and Tomoya finally made after all their hard work and dedication. I'll finish this while Asami is in the hospital and comes home with the baby, so don't worry about it while you're in the hospital. Yes. And I went to the hospital and delivered my baby safely by C-section. And my baby finally came, and she was so cute.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, it's your dad.
Now, did she laugh? She recognizes you. By the way, I was just wondering. Your mother-in-law said she would take care of Sasaki-san, but what happened?
Oh, Sasaki-san, it was amazing.
The day after I was admitted to the hospital, my mother-in-law was approached by a neighbor who asked her if she was okay. Apparently, my mother-in-law's loud retort from the yard echoed throughout the whole neighborhood, and the neighborhood was talking about it. That's awful.
I wasn't paying attention to her, but I didn't realize that the young people were being talked about like that.
It's already in the category of libel or slander.
Let's do something about it. At least so we can protect the families and the young people. And it seems that a mysterious unity was formed to protect the young couple and their family relationship from Sasaki-san. If someone gets tangled up with Sasaki-san again, they would intervene immediately and keep their interactions to a bare minimum, except for emergencies.
Sasaki-san is also elderly and lives alone, so we can't completely cut ties with her, but we're neighbors, so if something happens to us, we'll be in trouble too.
It's almost a measure out of pity. And after I went home with my daughter, Sasaki would run away from us whenever we saw her. Sasaki-san can't move out because she owns her house, and no one responds to her when she speaks to them like before. So, as expected, she's isolated and lives with a narrow shoulder. On the other hand, our neighborhood has become a popular district for young couples and those with children, thanks to the fact that the whole neighborhood has become a protective of the younger generation to prevent people from believing Sasaki-san's story.
Grandma's going to do my best for my granddaughter.
Tomoya and I both enjoy mother-in-law's company, and the younger generation of families who have moved in are grateful to her and our neighbors. Good thing your grandma's nice and cool. As I talk to my daughter like that, I'm living a peaceful life today as well.
I'm Midori. I'm 32. I got married to my husband Sota 4 years ago. We both work full-time.
I want kids soon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. One night, Sota said he wanted kids. I was always busy with work, so I never really thought about it, but I'm in my 30s now, so... We had some money saved up too. I could afford to miss work for a year or two. But then something happened. I won the lottery, and it changed my life forever. No way! I checked the number over and over again. I couldn't believe it. I won $600,000 in total. Then I got a call from my mom. These days, she was always telling me to have kids already. Hey there. So, maybe you should start thinking about having kids soon. Mom, What? You're pregnant? She thought I was pregnant at first. I told her about what happened. I won the lottery. Oh yeah? Congratulations! Raising kids costs a lot of money, so save up. Yeah. Oh, don't tell Sota how much you won. Huh? Why? I read this article the other day. This woman told her husband that she won the lotto, but then he ended up quitting his job without even telling her. What? Sota would never do that. You never know. Tell them you won 100,000 or something and see how he reacts. If everything seems fine then, maybe you can tell him how much you really won. Okay. I didn't want to lie to Sota, but I've heard similar things before myself, so I decided to listen to my mother. That night, when he came home, I told him I won the lotto. Hey, I won $100,000 in the lottery.
Wow, that's awesome!
He seemed really excited about this. We're gonna need the money for our child. Let's save it up.
Yeah, of course!
I had nothing to worry about. Or so I thought. A few months later, I got this strange call.
Sorry to bother you. I'm calling about the car you purchased the other day.
What? What car? It was from a car dealer. This must be some kind of mistake.
Your husband came by the other day and...
What? He never told me anything about this, and he would never do this. We always consulted one another before making big purchases. But then I remembered what my mom told me. It happens. Can it be? I don't want to believe it. But then I got another call.
Hello? I'm calling about the new condo you purchased.
Huh? My husband was trying to purchase a condo as well. But I told him I only won $100,000. That's not enough for a car and a condo. Sorry, I'm gonna have to call you back. Luckily, he didn't sign anything official yet, but still, this whole thing was causing me a headache. When he came home, I confronted him. What are you doing? We can't afford all this.
It's just the down payment. No worries.
You serious? There was just no talking to him. A good thing I didn't tell him the truth. Who knows what he would have done if he knew we won $600,000? This is my money, and we agreed to save it up.
What? This is our money!
Still, you can't just use it without asking me.
I'm busting my ass out there every day! I deserve a little break!
He was going crazy. But we agreed to save it up for our baby.
I don't care!
That's it. I'm through with him.
Where are you going?
I got my stuff and left the house. My mom was right. I went to my parents' house. Told you. Just give him some time. I'm sure he'll come to his senses. I hope so. But it was hopeless. He called me almost every day.
Come back! Give me my money! You're a thief!
He was like a completely different person. He was never like this to me. I can't believe he changed like this over $100,000. He was starting to scare me. So I decided to hire a divorce lawyer. Turns out he was cheating on me too, so I was done with him. In fact, that condo he was trying to buy, it was for his girlfriend. The real estate agent told me she came with him to the office. When he found out that I wanted a divorce, he flipped out.
She's trying to run off with my money! Hell no! I'm gonna sue her for damages! $100,000!
His lawyer didn't know what to tell him. He was the one who cheated on me, so he wasn't getting a dime out of me. His lawyer tried to explain that to him, but he just didn't get it. And then, when he found out that I actually won $600,000, he went nuts.
She lied to me? I'm gonna sue her for $600,000 then!
The Sota I knew was gone. I wanted to end it already, but he kept fighting it. The lawyer told him many times that the lottery money was legally mine, but it was no use. Then he started coming to my office.
Midori, come out here! Get out! I'm calling the cops!
I was so embarrassed. My colleagues were all worried about me.
Damn. You're alright?
Yes, I'm so sorry about all this.
No worries. Just be careful, alright? Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
My boss was very understanding. I later found out that my husband went on and signed the contract for the condo when he found out I actually won $600,000. He was so sure that half of it was his. But it didn't take him long to realize that he was dead wrong. When he realized how screwed he was, he started begging me for mercy.
Please, I'm sorry. Let's start over. Come on!
He left me dozens of voice messages. I lost all feelings for him. He was dead to me. Then, finally, after several months, he finally gave up and signed the divorce papers. He had to pay me every month for damages, So I was surprised to hear that he quit his job. I guess he'll have to look for another one really soon. Whatever, not my problem anymore, so... And he still had to pay for the condo and the new car he bought. It wasn't looking good for him. I wanted to get away from it all, so I used the money I won and moved out of town. I later found out that he was now living with his girlfriend and her older brother. Weird, right? I know, whatever. Like I said before, he's not my problem anymore. I requested to be transferred to a different branch near my parents' house. Luckily, there was an opening, so I was able to leave it all behind me. See? I told you so. Yeah. Well, it's all over now, so get some rest. Thanks, Mom. I still couldn't believe it, though. When I told him about the money, he turned into a completely different person. I guess it's true. Money changes people. I learned that the hard way. Maybe I should get a cat or something. Sounds good. Well, I'm just glad he's out of my life. Glad everything worked out.
My name is Yumi. I'm a soon-to-be married woman in my late 20s. Today is the wedding of my best friend Shiori and the groom, Toru. I'm attending with my friend Shoko. Shiori and I, who are having the ceremony today, have known each other since we were little. And are good friends. We spent 9 years together from elementary school to junior high school, partly because our houses are close to each other. We kept in touch with each other after we went to high school, and have many memories to this day. Shiori is finally getting married. I hope we celebrate a lot today and make it the best day of our lives. Next to me, also a friend of mine, is Shoko. She was a friend of Shiori's, but she introduced me to her, and we got to know each other as well. A mutual friend of mine and Shiori's, so to speak. Shoko overheard something during the wedding ceremony.
Hey, Ayumi, is it true that Shiori is having a shotgun marriage?
A what? A shotgun marriage? Shiro? As I recall, Shiori and her groom Toru haven't been dating for very long. But this is the first time I've heard of a shotgun marriage. We're on good terms with each other, so I'm sure there's nothing she wouldn't tell me. I don't know anything about Shiori getting a shotgun marriage. Isn't it just a false rumor? I deny the allegations, but...
What? You think so? But isn't the time between meeting and getting married too short? If Shiori is having a shotgun marriage, I'll ask her to return all the travel expenses and congratulatory gifts. In fact, I might even charge her for my attendance. I've no reason to celebrate a shotgun marriage. And I wish the child had never even existed.
Shoko said that with a very nasty look on her face. Hey, Shoko, today's a celebration, so don't talk like that. It's just a rumor with no basis in the first place. I understand that there are people who don't like the idea of a shotgun marriage, but Shiori and Toru, on the stage, and the relatives all look happy. She doesn't have to be so rude. It's inappropriate. I was honestly a little taken aback by Shoko's comment, but it was a whisper and no one else could hear me, so I only corrected her. Thinking back, I should have said clearly at that time, I don't think Shiori would have a shotgun marriage. If I had done that, it would have ended up like that. Shiori's wedding went on peacefully and without incident. The exchange of rings and kissing of vows at the ceremony, and then the cake ceremony, and videos showing at the reception. All the participants, including Shiori, Toru, and the guests seemed to be enjoying themselves in laughter. I'm glad it's going to be the best wedding for Shiori. And finally, the friend speeches. Shoko and I were supposed to give speeches as representatives of Shiori's friends. I rewrote it many times and practiced reading it a lot. I have to do my best as Shiori's friend. Now, let's continue with the speech by Ayumi, a friend of Shiori's. Congratulations on your marriage, Shiori and Toru. I have been looking forward to this day with great anticipation. I've known the bride, Shiori, since we were kids. Then I talked about many memories I had with Shiori. The first fight we had in elementary school, Shiori's first love in junior high school. I should be used to reading these sentences after practicing them many times, but when I think back to my days with Shiori, I feel like crying. I sincerely wish you both a long and happy life together. The audience erupted in applause when I finished my speech. Thank you for your wonderful speech, Ayumi. After listening to my speech, Shiori was smiling with tears in her eyes, just like me. I'm so happy to be able to contribute flowers like this to my best friend's big day. After my speech, next it was Shoko's turn to make a speech. I'm a little worried about her earlier comment about the shotgun marriage, but even Shoko wouldn't say anything like that in her speech at her friend's wedding. Next up is Shoko's speech on behalf of Shiori. Prompted by the MC, Shoko walked up to the stage without hesitation and picked the microphone with a smile on her face.
Congratulations on your marriage, Shiori.
Thank goodness, it's a normal speech. Guess I was worrying too much.
Am I allowed to say that?
What?
You decided to get married because you got pregnant, right? I never thought Shiori would be this careless. I'm honestly fed up rather than shocked. If you have decided to get married, don't think about your own happiness. Think about taking responsibility first and be a good parent.
After finishing what she had to say, Shoko sassily left the venue. After that, it was a disaster. Shiori starts crying because of Shoko's outrageous speech as Tori-san consoles Shiori next to her in panic. Shiori's father angrily follows Shoko out of the venue, and all the other attendees froze, unable to catch up with her understanding. It was Tori's father who settled the chaotic situation.
Well, she was kind of a loose cannon, but I want to see my grandchildren's faces, so I am very happy for them if they are happy. Unfortunately, however, they are not what one would call a happy marriage. Whether they have a child or not, they are both responsible adults. So everyone, please don't worry!
With that, Tori's father followed up on the terrible accusations made against Shiori. He goes on to capture the mood of the audience.
Now then, please let me present to you my prideful throat!
And then he began to sing. We were grasped by his presence and clapped our hands. And by the time the song was over, the atmosphere calmed down. The wedding resumed thanks to the tactful response of Tori's father. And the after-party followed without incident. Shiori? Are you okay? I never thought Shoko would say something like that. Yeah, I'm fine. But this is not a shotgun marriage, believe me, Yumi. I know. Don't worry, I'll tell Shoko later. Although they had a rough time at the wedding, Shiori and Toru's newly led life has been going smoothly since then. Last birthday we went on a trip together, and I got the present I've always wanted. I'm so happy for you. You embarrass me with your stories, but I'm relieved to hear that he's taking good care of you. I'm looking forward to the birth of their first child soon. I've had kids before, so if you have any concerns or anything, just ask. Yeah, thanks. Ayumi and Toru are here, so I'm relieved. Shoko, on the other hand, was apparently cut off from all her friends who were present at the wedding. When I questioned her about what she said at the ceremony, "Why did you say such a horrible thing? You have more common sense to learn before accusing people of getting into a shotgun marriage."
What? Don't get angry. It was just a small misunderstanding. You don't have to blame me so much, do you?
She laughed without any sign of remorse at all. Of course, there were no words of apology to Shiori either. I heard everyone was offended by this incident, and Shoko was cut off by them all, one after another. Can't believe she ruined someone's wedding and didn't even apologize. I don't know why Shoko went out of control. Toru isn't particularly handsome or incredibly rich, and Shoko has a boyfriend she's planning to marry too. She doesn't seem to be jealous of Shiori. Shiori is very caring and not the type to cause grudges from others. We haven't heard of any trouble between the two of them. After all, Shoko must have genuinely disliked the idea of a shotgun marriage. Shoko has always had a tendency to be bitter about things she doesn't like. She's like a hater on the internet. Up until now, I've been able to turn a blind eye to it because there hasn't been any major damage yet. But this was indeed way too much. It is the worst kind of slander to make false accusations and abuse an individual by name in front of the public at a wedding. Someday, she might actually get sued with that personality. She doesn't listen when I warn her, and now she has no friends to correct her mistakes. So, I feel sorry for her. This was a story about a former friend who was abandoned after giving an insane speech at a wedding.
I'm Sakura Kono. I got married a few years ago. I live with my husband and my son. Sota, brush your teeth. No! You'll get a cavity. No! My parents lived in the city. They had this nice house with a nice garden. My dad bought it when I was just a kid. My mom, who is a housewife, worked hard every day to keep that place nice and clean. She's been a housewife ever since I can remember. The house was always spotless, and the garden was always full of flowers. The tulips are so pretty. I know, right? But I'm getting too old for this. Here, have some tea. Thanks, Mom. You seem tired. You should get some rest. Thanks, dear, but I'm fine. I loved it there, and it was in the city, so we often had little get-togethers with family and friends. But then, when my mom was 60, my dad passed away. It was really hard on her. She aged very quickly after that. She really loved my dad, so... I'm just always so sleepy these days. You should take it easy. You're not that young anymore. She started forgetting things, too. She didn't talk as much as she used to. I guess it was normal for women her age, but... Still, I was worried about her. Leaving her in this house all by herself like this? We both loved that house, but it was too big for her to manage on her own. So one day I called her and made a suggestion. Hey, Mom, how are you? I'm good, thanks, dear. Sure. Listen, that house of yours, it's pretty big. Maybe too big for you to manage it on your own? Oh, yes, I guess. It is pretty big. Yeah, I'd like to buy it from you if I could, but I already have my own house, so... Maybe I should sell this place and move to a small apartment or something. I'll try and talk to Masafumi about it. Yeah, maybe. I'll ask him this weekend. This weekend, I had plans to go visit my brother, so I decided to talk to him about it. I'll come with you then. This is my house, so... All right, sounds good. After that, I made some small talk with her and hung up. A few days later, at my brother's house... So, yeah, Mom is thinking about selling her house.
No way! You can't sell that place! That's our home!
Huh? Yeah, it's such a nice house! Thank you, dear, but... I get what you're saying, I do.
It's such an amazing house! Don't sell it!
But Mom is getting too old to take care of that place on her own. She can't do everything on her own, you know? If you want to keep that place clean, you gotta help her from time to time.
What? But that house is always clean. I'm sure she'll be fine.
You're not listening to me. She's the one who kept it clean this whole time. Sorry, Masafumi, but I'm getting too old for this. I want to sell the house while it's still in good condition. My mom said to my brother and his wife. This must be really hard for her. Poor Mom. But no matter what she said, they said no. Then, a few days later, they got the other relatives on their side and started harassing my mother, telling her to keep the house. They made it sound like she was only doing this for the money. And they thought I was in on it too or something, after all these years. How could he say that about her? I hated seeing her like this. Mom is the one that kept that house in such good condition. I tried to explain it to them many times, but it was no use. But she's a housewife. That's her job. What's the big deal? Seriously? Anyone can do what she did. Stop making such a big deal out of it. I can probably do it with my eyes closed. I couldn't take it anymore. I finally snapped. You sure about that? Your house is always a mess. That's because we live in a crappy apartment. If we had a nice house like that, things would be different. Fine then. Why don't you guys move into her place? They didn't see that coming. They always had get-togethers at my mom's house that they didn't want to sell it off, but they never thought about living there themselves. But then, they realized it wasn't a bad deal.
All right. Sounds like a plan. We'll move there. It's a deal.
Okay then, you better take good care of that house. Where are you gonna live, though? You're not staying with us. Ugh, she was such a jerk. I hated her. Mom, if it's okay with you, you can live with me. You sure? But what about your husband? I'll talk to him, no worries. I lived in the suburbs, but the house was pretty big, so... And my son loved her, so she decided to move in with me. Sorry, I know it's sudden.
No worries. And I heard about what your brother and his wife said. I can't stand them, to be honest.
And so that was that. Mom was feeling much better after moving in with us. Then, about a year later, her old house was a mess. My brother and his sister couldn't do anything right. Just as I thought. My brother's wife was a housewife, but she never did anything around the house. The place was falling apart. It made me sad to see my mom's old house like this.
This isn't what I signed up for! The house is a mess! This place sucks!
Yeah, and nothing ever grows in the garden. Is that why you gave us this place? They kept making excuses, but it was an embarrassment. And his kids started acting out. I guess moving to the big city kind of backfired on them.
Shut up! I'm staying with my girl! Leave me alone!
Daddy, I want Louis Vuitton for my birthday. Otherwise, I'm running away from home.
What? You're still in middle school! And you're still in elementary! Don't push it!
As for me, my mom turned my house into a palace. I cleaned the house a bit while you were out. Oh, and here, I made some stew.
Yay, thanks, Grandma!
Oh, Mom, you shouldn't have. I can't help it. This is all I know, so... She was really good at this. I loved having her around. And both my husband and I worked full-time, so she was a lifesaver. It was like having a professional housekeeper. Soon, family and friends started hanging out at our house more often.
Hey, can we go to your house during summer vacation this year?
Huh? But you got such a nice house in the city. What's wrong with your place?
Look, it's a mess, okay? And the house is falling apart.
Well, that's your problem. But it's only for 15 more years or so, so good luck.
Wait, we have to demolish the house in 15 years? You're kidding me, right?
What? No, I thought our lawyer explained this to you. It's all in writing.
Whatever, I don't care. We're going to your house for summer vacation, and that's final!
I don't think so. You two aren't welcome here. Goodbye. He was unbelievable. He never listened to anyone. I didn't have time for this, so I hung up and blocked him.
I need Mom to come back. I can't do this without her.
He learned his lesson the hard way. Hey, you want to come live with us?
Yeah, we'll take good care of you. Come on, move in with us.
They tried to get her back, but they failed miserably. They're tearing that place down in 15 years, so I don't think so. The house was hers, but the land was a rental. They had to return it to the landlord in 15 years. That's why they were able to build their house in such a great location. I wanted to live there until the end, but oh well. I'm glad your brother agreed to move in there. It was much easier than trying to sell the house. Yeah. That place was a dump now, but I better keep quiet about that. It'll only upset her. My parents knew that they had to demolish the house in the future, so they were saving up accordingly. She had more than enough money to move into a retirement home if she had to. But she kept quiet about it. If my brother found out, he'd definitely try to leech off her, so good call. Wow, Mom and Dad thought of everything. Anyways, just glad that everything worked out.
I'm Koji. Last week I got this letter in the mail. Whoa! Tomoe? It was from Tomoe, my ex-wife. We got a divorce about 3 years ago. It was a picture of her and her new husband, Sotaro. And it looked like she was pregnant.
We just got married! P.S. The baby is due in October. Can't wait!
Seriously? Why would she send this to me? Is she messing with me? Or is she just really stupid? I didn't even know what to say. I met her back in college. We didn't go out then, but we met again a few years after graduation through work. Then we really hit it off. Back then, I thought she was the one. So I asked her to marry me. She quit her job and we got our own apartment near my office. Life was good. But then a few months later, she started acting all weird. We both wanted kids, so we agreed to start trying right after getting married. But for some reason, she kept saying no.
Maybe not yet.
I was kinda shocked, but it was her body, and she's the one that has to do all the heavy lifting. So maybe she just wanted some time to think about it. So I just said, "Alright, sorry." There wasn't much I could do. I can't force her, so I'll just give her some time. But then, a few weeks later, I found out why she was being like this. My childhood friend Shota told me that she was cheating on me. You're buying me drinks? That's a first. What's the occasion, Shota? Why do you look so upset? Koji, this isn't a social call. There's something I gotta tell you. Your wife, she's cheating on you, man. What? I thought he was messing with me at first, but he wasn't the type to joke around about things like this. According to him, one day, he was on his way home from work. He stopped by a cafe for some pancakes, but then... Is that Tomoe? He was sitting near the register, so he saw people coming and going. And he saw Tomoe. He was with a man. He assumed that it was me, but then... That's not Koji! It wasn't me. It was someone else. He followed them outside. After leaving the cafe, they went into this motel. I took a video to make sure that it was her. Look. Damn. You're right. It was her, all right. I was shocked. Sorry, man. No. Thanks for telling me. What now? If you're gonna divorce her, I'll help. I need more evidence first. Or maybe I just need some time to think about this. No worries. I'm here for you, so let me know when you're ready. Thanks. After that, we had a few drinks and headed back home. I sent Tomoe a message on my way back, but she didn't respond. Is she onto me? No, can't be. It was late. Maybe she was just sleeping at home. But then... What the? Where's my car? My car was gone. Tomoe, you home? Tomoe was nowhere to be found. And she wasn't picking up her phone either. She was always home at night. She only went to see her boyfriend while I was at work. Something was up. Maybe something happened to her parents? So I called her father. Hello? Koji? What's up? It was late, but he picked up on the first ring. Sorry to call so late. I just came home and Tomoe isn't here. Is she with you guys? No. I'll try and call her. But she wasn't picking up. I was starting to get worried. A few minutes later, her parents came over.
Tomo, what happened? Please be okay.
I'm sure she's okay. Let's wait until morning. If she doesn't show up by then, we'll call the cops. We stayed up all night waiting for her to come home, but she didn't show up. The next morning, we started getting ready to go to the police station. But then... What the? Where's my bank card? My bank card was gone, and that wasn't all. All my valuables! It's all gone! All my valuables were gone. It was wiped clean. Then it all started making sense to me. Tomoe ran off. She took all my stuff and ran off with her boyfriend. I don't want to believe it, but I fell to the ground. Her parents were worried about me. I told them that all my valuables were gone. Last night, a friend of mine told me that she was cheating on me. I showed them the video. They were stunned. Her parents were pissed. Their faces were starting to turn red. We're going to the police!
That idiot!
After that, my parents joined us. The police came to my house and searched the place for clues. They didn't find any fingerprints on the drawer where I kept most of my valuables. But in the living room and the bathroom, they found fingerprints that didn't belong to us. Then they checked the security cameras outside. Tomoe was getting into my car with some guy. His name was Sotaro. Apparently he was a con artist. And Tomoe? She was in debt to her friends, but she never paid them back a dime. So they stole from their family and friends and ran off. We were devastated. Koji, I'm so sorry about her! That idiot!
We're so sorry.
It's okay. Stop apologizing. This is not your fault. But
Come on, let's all take a deep breath.
You're gonna have to divorce her, that's for sure. Yeah. I got a lot to do. I might need some help. Of course. Anything you need. I didn't know what to do, so I started by calling a lawyer. I still can't believe this is happening. A few days later, I got a call from the police. They found my car. It was abandoned in the middle of nowhere. Then Sotaro's parents showed up. They apologized to me over and over again about what happened. It looked like Tomoe and her boyfriend moved out of state. We're gonna ask the police to help us look for them. You should go there too and file for damages. You sure? Of course. She committed a crime. She's gotta pay. So I went to the police and filed for damages. Then I went to family court and divorced her. Her parents and Sotaro's parents paid me for damages. I said no at first, but they insisted. Anyways, 3 years later, she sends me this.
Just got married! Baby is on the way! I'm so happy!
How stupid are they? They were both wanted for theft, but the police didn't know where they were. I hope they catch them soon. I prayed every day. Then this happens. Their address was written behind the postcard. How did she know where I was? And she's a fugitive on the run. How is she gonna get married? And what about the kid? How are they gonna raise a child on the run? I was worried about their child. I went to see her parents after that. They were infuriated. That idiot! I left the rest up to them. I later heard that Tomoe and Sotaro both got arrested. They committed countless crimes while they were on the run. They didn't hurt anyone physically, but they scammed people to make a living. They were going away for a very long time. Unbelievable. I can't believe I was once married to her. But what about their child? I was worried. She was most likely going to give birth in prison. I feel so bad for the kid. They deserve better. But when I talked to her parents about it, they said they were going to look after the baby themselves. Thank goodness for that. It was such a relief. But why did they send me that postcard? Maybe she was pissed off at me for making such a big deal out of this. Maybe this was her way of getting me back. She knew I wanted kids, so my guess is she was trying to rub it in my face. What a jerk. They were such idiots. But their plan, it didn't even work. I didn't give two shits about my ex or her new husband.
Glad everything worked out, honey.
Yeah. Thanks for all your help, babe. I love you so much. I had a family of my own now. So did she think I was still in love with her or something? What a dumbass. It took me some time to get over it, but I had good friends who cared about me, so it didn't take that long. This is all my fault, man. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I'm so sorry. Shota and I became close after the incident. Then he introduced me to this girl, and that's how I met my new wife, Kana. She was there for me when I needed her the most. I loved her very much, and Tomoe's parents were very helpful too. But they know where I live now, so we should move before they get released from prison.
Yeah, this place is getting small anyways.
Yeah, I want my son to have his own room. Oh, and I want a big kitchen.
I want a big jacuzzi.
Anyways, it was a rough couple of years, but glad everything worked out.
My name's Katone. I'm a 24-year-old office worker. I just recently got married to my husband, Koji, and we're newlyweds. My husband is 3 years older than me, and we met as the senior and junior students at the same university. I thought he was kind and nice, but when Koji graduated, he confessed his feelings for me, and we started dating. We dated for about 3 years and got married. Koji's hometown is 2 hours away by car. When I went to my parents-in-law's house for the first time to greet the marriage... Oh my, I never knew Koji had such a wonderful person in his life.
Take care of him from now on.
My husband's parents were in favor of the marriage and seemed to be very nice people with smiles on their faces. I was relieved and thought we would be able to make it work. What? You're marrying this? My husband's sister Minami, who is now 30 years old and single, looks at my face and gives me a blatantly disgusting look.
Sis!
Minami, don't talk like that.
What is this woman? I was annoyed at Minami, who was negative towards me from the very first meeting. However, she's Koji's sister. Despite my inner feelings, I kept smiling. It's okay. Nice to meet you.
Koji, why don't you marry Misaki? Misaki is prettier than this stranger.
Who? I was curious when I heard the name of a woman I didn't know, but Koji and my in-laws were tightening Kotome's belt, so I couldn't ask her right then and there. I watched Kotome being tightened up with a smile on my face, thinking I would ask Koji about it later. We left my parents-in-law's house, and when we got back, I asked Koji, "Who is this Misaki-san that your sister-in-law was talking about?" And Koji said reluctantly,
Misako and I have been childhood friends since kindergarten.
according to Koji, the woman named Misaki is his childhood friend, but she is his ex-girlfriend whom he dated in junior high school. Koji went off to college, so they became distant, and their feelings drifted apart and they broke up.
Misaki and my sister were in the same club and we were closer than I was.
I see.
But now I have nothing to do with Misaki and we hardly keep in touch. Trust me, Kotone is the only one for me.
Yeah. When I said this with a smile, Koji looked relieved. Well, everyone has past love affairs. I didn't mind, and went on to start preparing for the marriage with Koji. We decided to have the wedding in Koji's hometown, because my in-laws were taking care of my grandfather, and couldn't go too far away.
I want to have the ceremony while Grandpa is still in good health to reassure him.
With Koji's wishes, we were very busy preparing for the ceremony, and we went to Koji's hometown several times to discuss the ceremony. And each time we both showed up at my parents-in-law's house, Kotome would say,
Do you remember when Koji was in junior high school? Misaki confessed her feelings to another boy, and you got really jealous of her. Also, when you were in kindergarten, you said you were going to marry Misaki.
Kotome blabbered on to Koji about memories of Kotome, his ex-girlfriend, and my husband. Even though it's his ex-girlfriend, they've known each other since high school. So I didn't think much of it, but...
Hey, my tea's getting cold, so pour me some more.
Do it yourself, as I tried not to let the voice in my head spill out. I'm sorry. I'm not very attentive.
Ugh, if it was Misaki, she would have noticed right away and poured me some more.
Sis!
Koji warns Kotome, but she's still irritated.
But Misaki likes you.
I don't care! I have no intention of coming back here. And I think of Misaki as just a childhood friend.
Can't believe you got fooled by a strange woman when you went to the city.
Kotome mumbled and went back to her room.
I'm sorry, you must have felt uncomfortable.
I can trust you, right?
Of course! You don't have to worry about what my sister says.
Really?
You're the only one I love, Kotone.
Koji hugged me and I nuzzled my face into his chest. Then months passed, and when I went to my in-laws' house during the summer holiday, I found Kotome and a woman I didn't know happily talking in the living room.
Oh, welcome home.
It's been a long time.
Who?
Hey, that's rude, don't you think?
Could it be Misaki?
We were so in love with each other.
That's right. You promised each other your future, didn't you?
Koji was stunned, but Misaki looked at me regardless and...
Are you Koji's girlfriend? Nice to meet you.
Hi.
If Misaki and Koji got married, we could have been real sisters.
That's right.
Koji, why don't you go back to Misaki now?
Hey, what the hell are you talking about?
Koji kept scolding Kotome, but I couldn't take it anymore. Tears came running down silently.
Hey, there's no need to cry.
Seeing me cry, Kotome must have felt bad and started getting impatient. Misaki was also getting flustered.
Hey, you guys! There are things you can say and things you can't say! Apologize to Kotone!
It was just a joke. Can't you even take a joke?
Yeah.
Kotome noticed the commotion and came over.
Minami, you said something unnecessary to Kotone-chan again, didn't you? This woman is just overreacting!
That's enough! Kotone is a good cook and seamstress, and she takes good care of her parents. You should learn a thing or two from her.
No way.
Kotone always cooks with me, you know.
That's normal for a wife.
What do you do for us as our own daughter? You're done nothing!
I'm your daughter, so it's fine. Besides, Katomi made me a mesh shawl and gave it to me as a present. She's such a good wife. She's almost too good for Koji.
That's right! Katone is as pretty as a doll and is almost too good for Koji.
Uto calls me a doll. Maybe because I have straight black hair with bangs. Uto often compliments me on how pretty I look like.
She's not your wife yet.
Already registered!
What? Misaki is shocked. I haven't been able to forget Koji.
I don't come back here, and I always said I had a girlfriend, didn't I?
But Minami told me to take him away from that girlfriend. To Misaki's words, my husband.
Don't be ridiculous!
He snapped.
That's the kind of rottenness that makes men reject you!
Katomi silently stared at Koji. Seeing Katomi like that? My mother-in-law.
When Katomi comes here, she helps me take care of Grandpa and sends us money because she knows how hard it must be. What about you, on the other hand? You quit your job as soon as you get fed up with your relationships with other people, and you won't even go near Grandpa's place because you say it's dirty.
Mother-in-law, it's alright. It's my fault that Minami doesn't like me.
That's not true! It's not your fault, Katone!
Koji, thanks. But it's fine now. I buried my face in Koji's shoulder.
Leave this to us. Take care of Katone.
After that, Koji took me upstairs. Although in my mind, I was so happy. Actually, I've been a child actor as a child, and I'm good at shedding tears. If I don't have to deal with troublesome Katomi, all the better. Then a month later, Katomi was kicked out of her parents' house and had to live in an apartment. It might take some time to cure her spoiled guts. Misaki apologized to Koji and made excuses that Katomi had influenced her. But Koji completely ignored everything.
Koji rejected me!
I heard from a mutual friend that she complained like this. But my friend...
There's no way you can beat a beautiful wife.
I hear she gets laughed at. I'm not that beautiful though. If Misaki lost about 20 kilograms and put on makeup, she might look pretty decent. But she's no match for me. And we had a successful wedding, and everyone congratulated us. Even Grandpa attended and was happy in tears. Whenever we have time, we go to my in-laws' house, and Utome adores us. According to Utome, Kotome can't do housework and her apartment's trashed. She asks Utome for help, but Utome...
I don't want a daughter like you!
She gets refused. From now on, I would like to live together as a family and get along well with each other.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!